Good evening, everybody, and this is your executive summary. It's John Seville from Acorn Wealth Corp, and let's start off with the S&P 500. We've obviously continued to move up. Been following the Dow Jones Global Index as an indication of where the U.S. markets may be headed, and you can see that we broke out on Thursday of last week, continued higher, and it respected the moving average so far. We could be in an upward channel, so this could indicate that we still have no real signs of a breakdown yet, and certainly a lot more potential upward movement to go in terms of the Dow Jones Global. As we reflect back on how that appears in the US markets, of course we haven't broken new highs yet, but we're certainly shaping up in the same kind of triple top that we did in the Dow Jones Global. So far it looks like we could be headed higher. Now, in terms of having a look at some of the recent performers, big performance on OTIV. On the options side anyway, we looked at that from the executive. OTIV is actually the flag from the executive summary, and this was actually up 11.69% in after-hours trading. So this could be a nice jump in the morning markets, bringing us up towards an exit point around the 180 mark. So OTIV is something that obviously has already hit our exit after that first big rally, pulled back for our second entry point, and is now looking like it should be a performer the second time around. Of course, speaking about flags, ORMP has also did extremely well. This was one of the ones also from the executive summary for a flag formation play, and exited at a 50% profit target just in yesterday's trading. So anyone playing along with that one, that was up beautifully, and took our profit target out there in yesterday's trading. Of course, AMP as well, another one of the recent performers from the executive summary. This one was a target down of from 129.85 down to 122.57. We talked about in our trading room the puts on this one, which went up from 80 cents to $1.80. So over 100% gain there on the puts. Now, in terms of looking at some new plays, we've got quite a lot on the go at the moment in terms of existing positions, but some of the ones that made the cut for tomorrow's markets. First, it was WBAI, and on WBAI you can see that we have this nice kind of a potential flag that's forming up with equal tops. So at the moment this is just pressuring and pressuring and pressuring like it wants to go higher. Now they don't report to May 5th, and I think this has a nice little small potential pop here if we can have a break of the high here at 17.15 up to 19.57. So we've got about a $2.30 pop, over 10% on this 500 WAN company. The next one was PLX, which we've been chatting about in the trading room also, and this looks like a beautiful rally potential. The entry criteria we were talking of was $2.03 from last week's executive summary. We've hit that, so now we're looking for a rally up to the $2.17 price with a stop criteria at $1.94. So that one's looking good to go. CVLT is next. CVLT, also a potential flag formation play, and this has had a nice pullback after its first flagging move just a few days ago, and so we're looking at this as an entry of a $46.81 limit order, so under $46.81 up to $49.57. So looking at about just under a $3 move. With a stop criteria at 45.71. Okay, and the last but not least is VLTC, and VLTC also a flag formation as well. Now this has been a very, very strong mover, and is coming up to its last portion of the flag. So I was looking at this actually on the daily chart, the hourly chart. And if you see, we just got a nice breakout of that ascending triangle formation. So I'm looking at this actually as a long criteria for a pullback to that support at 758, and then looking for a long up to 893. So looking at grabbing about $1.30 roughly on top of the existing trade. So it'd be a nice significant profit, almost 20%, with a stop criteria at 723. And that basically gives us 4 decent longs, or 4 different long potentials for tomorrow's trading. In terms of looking at some of the other sides of the market, of course, we talked about CF. CF holdings on the short side, and looking at that as a potential drop down to the 265, 260 area. Looking at the 275 May expiration puts on that one. And one of the other ones I found, also looking decent from the short side, was BURL. And this one's had a very long run. It's obviously it's Burlington stores, and it's been breaking down recently. Challenged the smart money support and didn't seem to quite be able to hold it. The low here was 56.50. The low here was 56.29. So I believe this is a breakdown play. So a break below 56.25. Would be the entry criteria that I'd be looking at here, or actually 56.23, I'm sorry, 56.23, and I'd be looking at this as a first target down to that initial moving average support, as well as the horizontal resistance support here at 52.34, but that could actually just continue breaking, and my second target here would be looking at this support actually down there at 48.87. So that would give it a nice almost $8 drop from the break of 56.23. Again, obviously really decent profit potential there for a short side play to kind of offset some of the those longs. And you can see the money flow acting really, really well in terms of that big drop, showing that money flow is coming right out of the stock. And they don't report till June either, so a reasonable amount of safety away from obviously earning announcement risk. So we hope that helps. We're certainly going to be looking for some of these plays ourselves tomorrow. And with that, we'll see you all in the next executive summary.